Well, hello.
Hey.
So what had happened was we don't know where Myrtle is.
No, hopefully
Nobody
he's
knows.
okay.
Hopefully, well, I mean, maybe somebody knows where he is. I don't know if anyone in Fishfam knows where he is. We don't know where Myrtle is. Just MIA.
We
So
tried calling him and Facebook message calling him and messaging him.
stalking him to an acceptable level
Yeah.
that doesn't, I guess,
So,
embarrass him too much. Like
yeah.
we gotta call his parents. We could call the university. Start finding out what his classes are. Call his teachers. Yeah, Garden says if I don't know where he is, no one does. Exactly. And then like, where's Kelly? Well, Kelly's sick. Jake was sick. She got Jake's sickness, and so I was like, well, we canceled last week. Kelly was sick last week too. I didn't want to cancel this week, so I was like, it'll just be me and Myrtle. But then Myrtle is like, I'm gonna disappear. So
And then you were like, I guess I'll do it by myself. And I was like, I can help.
and I was like, yes,
I'm not completely dumb about plants.
no, but I didn't want to assume that you wanted to do another stream, 2 streams in a
Yeah.
week. So
And I was wondering as I was waiting for you backstage, this background that I made that's kind of like the thumbnail from Extreme.
mhm.
If you have all the plants, if you'd like, I can make a plant version for what your plants to
Oh, that's a good
alternate.
idea. Yeah, all the plant drawings we've done. We
Yeah.
should do more as well.
Yeah. So just make sure that I have all of those and I can do that tomorrow so that it'll be ready next wet your plants.
Cool. Well, there we go. Behind the scenes production. I didn't even know you were making this. So before the stream started, I saw a picture,
This
and I mean, not a picture, a
a
question. That's a
question?
picture.
This
That's a
one?
picture of a question.
It is a picture of a question.
Hey, is that a rabbit and a snail?
It's a
Yes.
rabbit snail.
Anyway, if I use a power head pump and attach an inline diffuser, can the pump be too fast for the diffuser?
And more
Um,
details.
a Rio 2100 that puts out 2,630 liters per hour. Is that too strong for an inline diffuser? I don't think there is I don't think there's such thing as too strong for an inline diffuser. In fact, the more water pushing through the bubbles, that means like fewer clusters of bubbles coming out of the output of the power head or filter or whatever. So I think it would actually be pretty efficient. So yeah, um, try it out. There's Kelly.
Yeah.
Yeah, give it a shot. Let me know. I'm actually curious about that. I haven't tried an inline diffuser on a power head before. I have a power head in the plant farm, and I have just your normal in tank ceramic diffuser next to it and pushes all the bubble line. I don't have a canister filter on there. But yeah, I'd be very curious about that. And then there's another one, hygro penetifida. Easy, hard, or depends. Well, if you have CO2 and decent lighting, it's very easy and it grows out of control, and you'll want to trim it a lot. And higher light makes it grow a lot shorter, more compact. It's a good plant if you've got high light and CO2, and it's a sucky plant if you don't. Unless it looks like standard high grow, if it even does anything for you. I can't get it to do anything without CO2 or really look that great.
Do you have an inline recommendation?
I mean, they're all pretty good. CO2 Art makes one. SR Aquaristics, I think, makes one. I have the one from Nylock G. I they they usually have preset hose sizes, so check on that. Frequent safety meetings equals boy who cried wolf.
Thank you, Coro, for being a member for 11 months.
Meeting so lurking, if you couldn't tell. Yeah, I have that. The Kelly has a Nylock G. I have it, that one as well. I like it. I believe the CO2 art one allows you to take out the ceramic part and clean it if you need to. Um, I don't. Yeah, inlines don't really need that kind of cleaning though. Should I be concerned about snails carrying rabies? I don't think so, but anything can happen.
Okay, here's
Rabies
another.
snails, I don't know. Should I move the diffuser closer to the hang on the back flow? Diffuser in left corner, hang on the back more middle right. I have any tank where I have a hang on the back and CO2 diffuser. I have the diffuser right below the output of the hang on the back. So the water is like rushing down into the diffuser and doesn't have a chance. The bubbles have very little chance of coming up. On high grow, no CO2, but good light. Do you propagate from cuttings like other stems? Yes. Just like any stem plant. A lot of people grow it on rocks, like treat it like a horizon plant, epiphyte. It looks and does better for me in good substrate.
So let me have a follow-up question. You said did you say Pennatifida is how you pronounce it?
Pentatafida,
So you
nobody
said
knows anything.
it's kind of iffy, but with no CO2 but a good light, are there other high grows that you would recommend, like maybe Corymbosa compacta, or do you think it needs
pretty
CO2?
much most of the rest of them.
Regular Corymbosa.
Yeah, Corymbosa compacta. Of course, the polysperma. If you
You have
want gigantic,
Corymbosa compacta right there at your shoulder. If people are wondering what it looks, do you have any other high grows in that 90 that you could see visually?
That one, that's a cherry leaf. It's large. So if you put it in a small tank, it's going to grow, branch out, and shade out everything. Which, if you want that to happen, that's cool.
And it also like grows out of the tank immersed like very easily. And doesn't it get those like pinkish leaves?
It's more like dark leaf. I don't know. I'm not a fan of it immersed, but it certainly grows fast and pulls nutrients out of the water. So that's why I like it. And Kelly's gonna take a nap. Let's see. Scotty says, while I can't hear. Okay, cool.
So perfect. Let's answer his question while he's not listening.
Let's say I were to move in a few weeks. Let's just say that Scotty has an offer that's been accepted on a house and is going to move in a few weeks. What should I do with my tank / plant, specifically my plant tank? What should this process look like? Well, if I were going to move, I would be putting plants in bags and sealing those bags, just making sure moisture can't escape. And like, you could treat the plants like you are shipping them, as in like put them in some sort of container that doesn't lose moisture really quickly, and transport them. Keep just like you were shipping plants. You don't want them to be in the dark for a long time. If you need like more than a week to set everything back up, maybe put them in the fridge. I have personally never put them in the fridge. Kelly puts hers in the fridge before she ships them. So, and she says like a couple of weeks or more, she ships me plants. They've always been fine. So I assume that they can last a decent amount of time in the fridge.
Yeah. And I mean,
and I just put fish in buckets.
Just a few days, you could float the plants in a bucket for a day or two. Yeah. When you get there.
That's what I would do. Okay. Knowing me, I would have the best intentions, but moving is such a pain. The tanks is like one of 10 billion things you have to do when you move. So I would have good intentions. I would probably focus mostly on making sure the fish were in a good environment and then I would float the plants in all of the tanks for a long time, intending to plant them and make them look good. Half of them would rot. Just kind of the reality of how I probably would operate. But if you are quick about it, then you can preserve them all.
So I know, like, that 90 behind you, when and if we ever move, it's going to be like you need to remove everything because the tank itself weighs a lot. But let's say Scotty has like a 3-gallon tank. Could he drain it and leave the substrate and plants in there if he can lift it?
Yeah, drain
Just
it.
catch out the fish if it's light
Drain it.
enough.
Leave everything else in there besides, take the fish out, but leave like most of leave the substrate, leave the plants planted, maybe like an inch of water in there, cover the whole thing with saran wrap so you don't get
If an inch of water is
moisture out.
too heavy, you could mist it
You,
right before and saran
yeah,
wrap.
essentially you just want to make sure it's humid in there before you put the saran wrap on there. Make sure it's nicely filled. Shady Grady bubble counter diffuser with a ceramic disc at the top. It was working perfectly, but started streaming bubbles just from one spot on the disc. Big bubbles, bad ceramic. Is it clogged? Like, is it got algae visible on the outside? Did you make the mistake of like touching it too much with your bare hands, like the ceramic part, or scrubbing it?
Brooklyn was touching her disc and you were like, don't touch it.
I wasn't that rude. I was just like, you probably shouldn't touch it. But yeah, I would I don't know what it looks like. I would soak it in peroxide for a few hours or overnight, try it again tomorrow and see if it performs better. I mean, the ceramic discs are very, very fine pores, takes a lot of pressure to push bubbles through evenly, and it will always take the path of least resistance. So if there's any blockage whatsoever in those, you'll notice.
He said it was new.
It was working perfectly though. But like, when did it stop? How long was it working perfectly before it started streaming bubbles from just one spot? And are the bubbles streaming from the side of it? Like, is the disc maybe, is it one of those replaceable discs, or is it one where the Neo where the disc is glued to the top? Because those Neos would get leaks around the seam where they're glued to the top. So yeah. Okay. B Wizzle, saw Candy came in. Wizzle says, seen a review on those stainless steel Fluval CO2 canisters. You add yeast, can add solenoid onto it. Looks pretty solid. Yeah, I've seen a couple of the videos coming out. A couple of channels posted reviews. I'm guessing they're starting to make the rounds, or Fluval. I don't know how that's working, but it seemed interesting that a few of them came out at once. So I'm guessing like that is going to start becoming a thing. I would like to try one, not for free, because I want to be honest about it, and I might tear the whole thing apart, but I also might like it. It's just, it's hard to think about going from just the pressurized CO2 canisters and how easy they are to like having to do a monthly yeast and sugar concoction, knowing how inconsistent I am about everything. Craig, thanks for being a member for 15 months. Send in the smiley.
Did you want to go through the participants list?
Yeah, sure. We usually don't, but we might as well for this one.
Yeah, because I'm here to keep you on track.
Indeed. And we're only going to stream an hour because we've got stuff to do. Like, finally, our patio collapsed, what, in January or something?
In January.
It's taken this long to get the insurance claim process, the check, and then hiring a contractor. And they just cleared out all the debris today. And now the concrete looks like crap. So I'm going to have to pressure wash it. And we have an outdoor rug out there that's like caked with mud now.
Yeah, because it just was exposed to all the elements and all of the stuff that collapsed for 2 months, constantly rained on.
Yeah. So if y'all have ever seen those viral like rug cleaning videos, I wish I had all the tools to do that, but I don't think it's going to go that well.
No. It's
but
not.
it needs that kind of treatment. But it's also just a cheap outdoor rug because we knew it was going to be outdoors. So we could just toss it. So Shady Grady says, not a replaceable disc. This is the type that has a glass coil inside for the bubbles to look fancy. I would try to soak it. Yeah, they should be. I mean, prior to using them, you're supposed to like soak them in water overnight. I would, try the peroxide, make sure the pores are cleared, check where the bubbles are coming out. If you the string of fat bubbles that are coming out of the side, you might just be unsealed. And I recommend anyone who's getting an in tank diffuser, get the ones with replaceable disc. They're the what's it called? The Tropico one, the 3-in-1. It's pretty low profile, has replaceable disc. You can get it from Atlantic Aquariums, actually. I don't know if he has it in stock, but I've got mine from there, and the replaceable disc. It's more convenient, and they're much more reliable too. Sketty says, our insurance company paid us to remove the rubble. God, that would be so much.
They technically paid for it, but the contractor quoted us for what was within budget to tear it down, haul off the rubble, and rebuild the new one. And
that would have been a job, though. We'd have to borrow a truck and a trailer to haul all that off.
It had metal pieces that needed to be cut. We would have potentially needed special tools. I don't know. They already had it. So, and they demoed all of it in one day. They got here around 8:30 in the morning, and they were done around noon. It didn't take them especially long to do that.
Was that fun working with the crew, like literally right behind you?
Yeah, the patio is literally, there's behind this green screen is a sliding glass door, and that is where the patio is.
I could hear what they were doing from the front room here.
Yeah.
All right.
Parts of it were very loud. Most of it wasn't that bad. Luckily, it was over by my meeting time. Otherwise, I would have probably had to get my laptop and go somewhere else.
So participants, we got 30. So hello to Aquatic Moose, Big Steve, Bionic Bigfoot, Bwizzle, Candy Overhauls, Craig's Catfish Cave, Dave Farrell, Dennis Christensen, DJ Guppy Fish, Fishfam Link, I'm Just Legacy, Melvin, Jeff Kane, Jenna P, Kara C, Kelly Foreman, Napping with Fat Kitty Now, Coro Works, Linda Worth, Mystery Snail Gardens, Nancy B, Nathan Hovey, Only Oscars, Passing Wind, Pepling Creek Aquatics, Professor Fish Tank, Scotty the Fish Freak, Sketty Nona, Shady Grady, the 186 Element, Zen Ginger, and Why Are We Always Yelling?
And Silver Tommy
Creek just came in. What's up?
So something, and Rosie. So something I wanted you to potentially show, because you noticed the difference. Right now you have behind you the new green screen video you filmed. I think you should show what it was before. Like maybe make yourself large.
Disappear. No, I'll make myself disappear.
Okay. And show the previous, show the previous video that you had for that tank. Because I don't know, like before, people probably looked at it and thought like, oh, that tank looks good.
Maybe they thought it looked like shit.
Well, maybe.
This is, so I bought a Wek Aqua brand light after I bought that Chihiro's for the smaller tank. I was like, all right, this is what I've been missing in my life, making the plants look like true to color. which in nature, so I will say in nature, you're not going to find this because you just have the sun and color loss through water. That's why water usually looks blue or green underwater, because that's the way the light be refracting and stuff and sciencey things. But you got a aquatic garden in your home. I mean, this light made a drastic difference. So 2 months ago, then so that previous Saint look was horrendous, but didn't want to hurt his feelings. So 2 months ago, I did this video. Same tank, needed a trim, obviously, and then this tank has 2 Fluval 3.0s, and this tank now has 1 Wek Aqua P1200 or whatever it's called, Pro thing. Yeah. And I mean, you can adjust the lighting intensity. You can make it more blue, more green, or more red specifically. You make all of these have equal power, and then it's more balanced. But it's like the red plants look redder, the green plants look greener, the fish are like, holy shit. Yeah, it's great all around. Recognizing it is a matter of taste. Some people like their lights to be more towards blue or more towards like the yellow or orange. So, but yeah, I'll go. Here's before picture. And then when I filmed the Wek Aqua one, I turned the brightness down a little bit too much. So that's why you're seeing like a brightness difference. But in reality, they're equal brightness.
But just look at those like Bosemani.
I know. That's definitely the most noticeable difference. But I mean, everything. Yeah. And not only that, but like the new growth is like on the red plants is redder than it was. So like it's affecting the way the plants grow too. It's one of those things where like I knew this existed and happened in theory, but seeing it a side-by-side comparison in person was what I needed to be like, okay, I'm sold. Not that I'm gonna do this for every tank because these lights are expensive, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. Welcome in, Fathom.
What's up, Alex?
So I don't know. So tell us about the app.
The app is it works. You can open it and eventually figure out how to program the light to ramp up at different intervals. And then what you want to do after that is connect it, set it up, and close the app and never open it again.
Welcome in, Ben.
I imagine like Wek Aquas are like not super popular in the United States. I think if they gain traction, the app will be improved. But right now, the app, all I require is that the app be functional. The interface can be garbage. I'm used to that. I'm okay with that. I will say that the Wek Aqua app makes the Fluval one look like it's some sort of engineering masterpiece. So
now, which app is easier, the Wek Aqua or the Chihiros?
No. They are both annoying. The Fluval one less so, but still not that great. Like it definitely needs a lot of work. No. The other ones are rudimentary. Like they thought of the things that you should have in the app and then didn't think about like humans being able to use them basically. But they'll figure that out eventually.
Coro has a request.
Cora says, I would like you to play with a bunch of the DC pump apps for us and determine which is the best. Oh my God. What could a DC pump possibly offer in an app? A schedule and power level? Like I've never opened a DC pump app, but they seem like they would be either really basic or like over engineered for their own good. Well, the app is an app that works, Ish. Oh, what? Oh, what about that CO2? Well, the CO2 is what you think it is, CO2, and it helps plants do stuff. Well, that's why you come here to this stream, for thorough answers. I didn't say CO2.
You gonna put yourself
CO2.
back on the screen?
I guess so. Let's see how I'll do that. It is fun to like open windows and move stuff around without the CPU spiking to 100%.
Yeah, so that's part. So we had a few reasons of why we didn't stream Friday. Part of it is that they were maybe coming Friday to do the patio instead of today, and it depended on weather. So we had to have everything out of the way, and we spent all of our energy and time, instead of drawing fish and getting ready, clearing all the debris we could on our end and all the stuff that was on our patio out so that they could do their part. But also, you got in computer parts for an upgrade.
Yeah.
And you
that went well.
That.
Like no issues really. I consider it a win because that motherboard that I paid half price for from Amazon warehouse deal appears to be working just fine, which I was kind of pessimistic about that. I'm like, a motherboard that was a return that Amazon undoubtedly like did not test. I wasn't optimistic, but it's all good. Cora says the Jibao, Jibia. I don't know. Is that
Yeah. Jabal? I don't know.
Jibba. You have to program each pump individually if you want them to have any power level variability. Like you can turn on and off as a network, but not adjust flow level. No, thank you. And apparently the Casa app only allows you 30 scheduled events per item a day for the smart plugs or lights. So maybe that's a thing with pumps. I didn't know the Casa had such a limit. I cannot imagine scheduling 30 events for one device. I mean, I guess there's a use case for that, but not for like what I have it on lights and stuff.
But CO2 doesn't have electrolytes.
Oh, it's what plants crave. Yeah. CO2 just basically CO2 makes plants hungrier. And yeah, the ability to use more light to absorb more nutrients. And that's what CO2 does. It must be respected because too much of it will kill your fish, and your fish should always come first. Doesn't mean you don't need to use, or you shouldn't use the CO2, but Coro says, well, I can't have it follow a schedule every hour. I can only turn it on and off every hour or two, right? I don't know. I'm glad I don't have to deal with that. That's all I'll say.
Welcome in, Renee.
Renee misses Tiger Direct, but have a micro center nearby. We don't have a micro center or a Fry's or nothing around here.
No, I think we've been to a Fry. We've been to Fry's in Florida. Is that where we went? In Jacksonville? Or was it in Houston?
In Houston.
We went to the Renaissance Festival.
Oh, yeah. I've been to Fry's, been to multiple micro centers. Anytime I had to travel out of town and there was a micro center nearby, I would totally spend like a couple hours in there for sure. Yeah. What?
Do we have any kind of store even close to that here? No.
We don't even have a computer. What's it called?
We have a Best
Comp
Buy.
USA. Best Buy is not the same.
I know.
So Nathan's finding with CO2, he's dosing the tank with liquid fertilizer twice as much. Yep. And if you don't, you'll find that everything happens faster with CO2, including nutrient deficiencies. Your plants will get sadder faster. They will grow faster if you add nutrients. Algae will also grow faster if everything's out of balance. Cora likes to push the limits of smart plugs. Yeah. Never had a reason to, but
so now what happens if you stop your CO2 for a few days?
For a few days?
Mm-hmm.
Depends on how the tank is set up. A CO2 injected tank doesn't have to be high light. So if, say, the CO2 stops on one of the tanks in the dining room, like the crypt tank, or even the plant farm is not like super high light. So if it stopped in there for a few days, there would be some algae. I'm sure everything would be a little bit out of balance. If it stopped for 2 weeks, things would look a whole lot worse. In a tank with very high light and like the edge of safety CO2 injection, if that CO2 stops, then the algae throws a freaking party. Like, it is one of the downsides to having a tank like that, where everything's set up on the bleeding edge of stability. Like, it's perfectly balanced, but God help you if you change anything.
So what are some things you could do to help get it back into balance if you maybe had your CO2 run out, or you needed to turn it off to medicate a tank or something, and now you have an algae imbalance?
Well, for me, I would prepare to lose my most sensitive plants, like the fussy ones that require high light, because you can't keep, if you start getting an algae breakout, you're going to have to start sacrificing leaves and entire stems and plants to cut as much of that out as you can. Probably cut the light for a little while when you start the CO2 back up, in which case, like, just the algae breakout, the light cutting, and trimming might sacrifice some of the more sensitive plants. And Usama is currently battling brown algae and diatoms.
So
Yeah, that one's
have
no
you ever
fun.
had a tank that didn't have to go through the diatom stage?
No.
No. But you've had some that have gone through it longer than others. So what do you
Yeah,
think
what
the difference might be?
water changes. Water changes, and deploying a cleanup crew early in the process. Like, the longest diatom stage was our first tank, the 40 gallon, because I didn't have any seed media. I didn't have any cleanup crew. I didn't even know what the hell brown algae was. Only thing I was told was that it goes away. Like, it'll eventually balance out. It's kind of a new tank syndrome symptom. So I didn't worry about it too much, other than it just looked ugly. So I'd take out our fake ass ornaments and scrub them down every now and then and obsess over that.
Yeah.
It didn't really help. But autosinkless, nearite snails, ram's horn snail, like any snails, they love it. But also, just doing a crap ton of water changes helps a lot. And having seed media also helps a lot. Just getting
Yeah.
everything, getting a biofilm established in there, and just in a cleanup crew to like go and mow it all down.
Yeah.
I know that
And
silicates are supposed to cause diatom algae. I don't know if having a sand substrate makes that worse. It kind of happens in all the tanks that we've had. Could be something in our water specifically.
so is it best to leave lights off while CO2 is not on? Isn't the trend that the CO2 comes on an hour before lights and turns off an hour before the lights go off?
Yeah, I think I have some of mine set to the CO2 to turn on like 2 hours before the lights come on. Basically, it would be ideal if your drop checker was green when the lights came on, so like immediately photosynthesis it's off to a good start. But in general, don't leave it on overnight. Just, and then, like, I'll
Yeah.
have the CO2 turn off, I don't know, an hour or two before lights out.
Yeah, like for sure when your lights are off for the night, the CO2 should have already been off.
Yeah.
Like it's so why can't you run CO2 24 hours a day?
because
Let's
bad
just
for
answer that
fish.
question.
Oh, okay. So let me say that it's not that you can't. It's not a death sentence for there to be CO2 running at night, but you will build up the concentration of CO2 a lot faster at night, because not only are you injecting additional CO2, but your plants are also respirating CO2 at night. So it's a very good chance your fish are going to not like that. So 186 asks, with my new light purchase, would I ever consider a Fluval 3.0 again? Yeah, I would, because it still has a good programming. Like if you want a programmable light, it's also very bright, and a 4-foot. Like if I have a narrow tank that I'm not like looking for it to be a super awesome display, but I still need high light for whatever reason, or programmable light, like that's still half the price of one of these Wek Aquas. I just, for this tank, because of the width of it, I would need 2 Fluvals. So then it becomes more economical, honestly, to get that Wek Aqua. Assuming the Wek Aqua doesn't die on me in 6 months. I have no idea.
So I guess maybe the question is, for utility, you would be fine with a Fluval 3.0, or for like growing out plants or for breeding fish, but for a tank that you want as a display tank, would you purchase Fluval 3.0 for that if you were starting over? Like, let's say you were making a new display tank, would you just splurge and get a Hyrs or Wek Aqua, knowing that it's going to be a display tank?
It depends. Because I kind of have the tanks on different tiers. Like a tank that I'm going to be around and see all the time, that I'm going to put most of my energy into maintaining and all that, and like put my favorite fish in, then yeah, I'm going to go all out and do what I can for those tanks. And I think that this light, like the narrow band spectrum lights, from what I'm seeing, look better than a Fluval 3.0. It doesn't mean a Fluval 3.0 looks bad. I still like them, and I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them still in use, and I'm with no intention. I'm about to have the 6th one in use.
Yeah, you're gonna replace mine.
Yeah, so I have no intentions to like start throwing away all my Fluvals.
Welcome in First Class Fish. So Usama said that silicate can be in the main water supply as well. And yeah, he said plants don't take in CO2 at night, they take in O2.
I said that right. I didn't get that backwards. That they do, yeah, like CO, like if you inject CO2 at night, you're injecting CO2 and the plants are giving off CO2. So it's like extra CO2 that's not being used at all. Should I inject CO2 into an immersed tub or similar? No.
If they're immersed, they're getting CO2 from,
that's like they're getting all the CO2.
Air.
Yeah. I think he might have been joking. Zenger said, if I decide I need to go full blackout for algae for like a week or more in that tank, would I still want to run CO2 at all? No, you wouldn't do that, because no light, can't use CO2, can't use nutrients. You're like, basically when you go full blackout, you are saying, okay, plants, you're tougher than algae. Your cellular structure is more sound than algae. So we got to put the algae through the test. It's going to suck for you, but it's going to hopefully suck even worse for them. So your plants, in theory, not going to be happy, but not going to die, whereas the algae will be weaker and die. That's the goal with the blackout. Coro says, are any of your lights hazardous for your eyes? Like, doesn't the Wek Aqua have a bunch of IR and UVB? Do you need glasses like in a grow room? Is that something to consider for display versus farm? Making me think about safety.
Well, it came with
I just squint when I look at it.
What do you call it?
The
blinders, shades,
yeah, because like, a light on top of a tank is usually flat, And so there's a lot of light bleed from the front and the back, but there's like a little shade flappy thing on either side. So when you're trying to film a tank or look at your tank, you're not getting light bleed in your eyes. I don't know if that makes it magically safe if it were unsafe to begin with, but there was no, I was gonna say there was no warning on the box about don't look at it, but also most of the writing was in Chinese, so I can't really
And like, didn't one of your computer parts only come in German?
Oh yeah,
The
most
instructions.
most of the water cooling stuff that I get is in German. German is like, we have perfected all plumbing things, just don't buy from anyone else. Rosie said, I'm sorry I missed something. The tank behind you is not the Chihiros. It's not. It's similar. Though it's the Wek Aqua, Week Aqua. It is the same principle as the Chihiros in the spectrum, the narrow band spectrum that they use. So it's like a lot of blue, a lot of green, a lot of red. You combine those two, and it's like a more natural looking light, sort of compensating for the fact that you lose red spectrum when you penetrate the water. So it's like mimicking or it's showing the true colors, not necessarily mimicking nature, I guess. And yeah, I don't stare at LEDs either, Usama. So I do have a Chihiros on a smaller tank, but the one behind me is the Wek Aqua, and like they're literally the Chihiros and the Wek Aqua are in the same room, and I couldn't tell you that one was like better quality than the other.
So I don't know why Scotty is asking me because I can't answer this. So I'm going to defer to you.
Scotty says, Jenna, there will be a period during the movie where I won't have CO2 set up. During that time, should I have the lights come on or leave them off?
How long is the movie? Is it like Gone with the Wind, or is it like, I don't know what movies Scotty knows.
I don't know. What movie? What movie does Scotty know? Hey, Whip. And First Class Fish. I don't remember if we said hi to him.
Yes, we did. And Rachel.
And Rachel just now.
So he's talking about he gets everything back into his house, but he doesn't have time to set up the CO2 yet. I guess. Like it's going to be a little bit for him to reset up the CO2.
Low light, shorter photo period, or lower intensity, or both if you can, until the CO2 is back up. That way the plants won't die. They'll just be unhappy. Now, don't do this for a month. Like, if my goal when I moved, like I said, I'd probably let some plants rot, but I'd have to just like accept that that's who I am, and I knew these plants were going to rot, and now we're going to repropagate the plants that rotted. But ideally, when you start moving tanks, set them up as soon as possible for the sake of the fish too. That would be my goal, and prioritizing the fish, of course. Koro says, should we put two-way mirror on our tanks to retain light inside the tank and reduce glare from outside?
So the Wek Aqua shades are just like solid, but the Chihiro shades do have mirrors on the inside to redirect the light back into the tank.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really know if that like actually makes things better or not. It kind of helps spread the light. I don't know if it does anything else. Now, I'm trying to like visualize what Koro is talking about, and I can't. Brain fried after work. I hear great things about the Netlia or Netlia. The Koshin guys said they like them better than the Chihiros. Nice. I actually I've heard of those as well. Oh yeah, weren't we talking about you were talking about those on Fishcord, weren't we? Yeah, there's a few like that. I tried the ones that were like available and I had read about, and someone told me about them, and I'm like, okay, I'll try it. So Netlia might be the next one on my list. Zen says, so we need to get Steven a par meter so we can guilt him into testing theories for us and making videos. You wouldn't have to guilt me. If you got me a par meter, I would do all the things with it.
You had a par meter for a few weeks.
I did, and I tested a lot of tanks. The timing could have been better. Like, I would do all the things over a longer period of time, but I was borrowing it, so I didn't want to like hold on to it forever. But yeah, one day I'll get one of those nice ones. Rosie said, my Chihiros I really like, but it's so green. And like Kelly, I have a hard time with the app. If you got yours looking like the one behind you, could some... Oh, okay. I actually recorded a video.
You should maybe
showing Kelly how to set the time, but Rosie probably needs help with the spectrum, like turning the green down a little bit.
So maybe you should make a comprehensive how to use the Chihiros app video.
No.
And it might help other people.
I bet that already exists. And I don't want to take the time to go through the whole app. And also, I don't want to take the time to learn so much about the app that I feel confident making a video. I don't want to make a video only knowing half-ass how to use the app for my purposes, I guess is what I'm saying. And yeah, but I understand if you have the green at equal intensity as everything else, that green is green and everything is green. So yeah, but luckily you can adjust that and not make it so damn green. 186 element. Anybody currently using the Co-op Light? Any thoughts? I don't have the Co-op Light, so I don't have any thoughts.
Eric Wyrock does, I believe.
Yeah.
Matt Liquid Zoo does.
That's right. Matt does have one.
I don't know anyone else personally who has one. But I know, like, when they first sent us pictures, it kind of looks kind of yellowish. But I know Matt has said that it's like helped his plants grow a lot.
Here's the thing, though. If you're switching from the cheapest, shittiest LED or like stock tank light that usually comes with kits or like people used in the days of old, those are really blue, unnaturally, holy crap blue. So I can imagine switching to the Fluval. Things were like more yellowy or orangey, but then you get used to it and you realize, well, that's a little bit more natural. It's kind of how things look underwater versus like just blasting the hell out of it with blue. It doesn't need that much help with the blue.
You know, it would be interesting to see, and maybe we could test this one day because you have a Chihiros light. I wonder what a Blackwater aquarium would look like with that kind of light on it.
With the Wek Aqua light or the Chihiros?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
well, that'd be easy to test. I can just
like if you made a like
okay. I bet it would look really weird. And June is like, "Where's the app, Corey?" She's got to have the app.
She said today I installed lights in my room that I can control through an app.
Lights with apps make life a little easier. Yeah, smart plugs work for like most of the lights. I do like the reason I like the ramp up, like starting lights at a very dim setting or on rainbow tanks, because they freak the hell out whenever the light just goes, good morning, you know. Sakura says, like the mirrors to interrogate you, should we coat our aquarium glass in that and reflect light that would otherwise escape the tank back into the tank for the plants?
Yeah. So what he means is, like, imagine a shade that it's a mirror on the inside and it's clear, like you can see through it on your side.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if that would like distort things too much. Ideally the fish can't see you. They might act more natural. I don't know. I feel like someone's got to have tried that, right? And Matt says, if you want a quality light, quality support, quality company at a decent price, get the Co-op. If you don't care, buy something cheaper. If you really care, buy something more expensive. Makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah, I just haven't tried it out, but like I haven't heard anyone being like the app blew up on me. I mean, not the app. Thinking about June. The light blew up on me or whatever. But yeah, I like apps. Apps are good. Usama said George Farmer has set up a Blackwater on Tropica channel and with Shiro, so I knew it. Somebody tried that. I want to go look at it now.
Well, not right now. Look at it after the stream because there's only 9 minutes left.
Who goes at Hagen Hill? Are they streaming in 9 minutes?
Is that how you say their name?
Hagen.
Do they have like the, what is it, the umlaut? Or what are those 2 dots called?
I think they do. Yeah. Oinky says, I have awesome, moderate, and don't be upset with me news. So, okay. Got 2 banana plants. Okay, no, good. Hold on. Good. Got my first ghost knife. Awesome. Don't be upset. Got 2 banana plants. Moderate.
I mean, that's less banana plants that have to come near me.
Moderate. Does getting first neon tetras qualify as moderate news? I mean, are you excited about them? Then I think it's great news.
Yeah.
Hopefully they do well for you. I mean, I know those are hard to get a good source on, like good healthy batch of neon tetras. We've only tried them once and it was pure disaster, so biased.
Yeah.
Hagen Hill Designs. Yeah, like Hagen. I did it. I said the thing right. So tired of people saying same product, different label. There are very few current products that the initial design wasn't done by a company, but that doesn't mean company A. Company A doesn't mean company B doesn't come in and change stuff. Of course, that doesn't mean they did change stuff, but if you follow Co-op, you know, Corey does crazy testing and changes, some of which raises costs. Think of cord lengths. Yeah. I mean, you have a company that does the manufacturing, but usually like you're telling them what to manufacture, and the challenge comes in like finding a company that will do the thing that you want it to do reliably, consistently, and high quality. So.
Yeah. And I mean, ultimately, you as the consumer make the choice in what you believe, but he is trying to put the information out there, and you can, you know, make your own purchases however you'd like.
Yep. So yeah, I've not tried that light. I just haven't like been in the market for that level of light. Like we're not setting up any new tanks anytime soon. So
yeah. And I mean, that light would offer different things. Like when you purchased your 2 most recent lights, you were looking for different things, not just plant growth, because you had the lights for that.
Yeah,
you're looking for a different spectrum.
I wasn't looking for a $100 light. I was looking for a $400 light, and don't want to make a habit of doing that.
No.
But I think it was, in this case, definitely worth it. I spend the most time with these tanks, with the Chiros and the Wek Aqua. They're in the bedroom / my office. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Any other questions we missed?
I don't think so.
J-Rock. Lots of products like that. They're usually not going to be as good as a ground up design contracted out by someone who's not going to rebadge for everyone. Way different matters. Yeah. How many watts is too many watts for a grow light?
So are those lights that you got from Gina considered grow lights?
Yeah, I think so. They're like just big red and blue LEDs with lenses on them. I don't know much about them other than they were bright and red and worked for the plant farm. Favorite plant to go with cottage cheese? Anything that would drown out the cottage cheese.
Are you eating the plant?
I
Because
think
certain
so.
plants are edible. Like,
Can you grow plants in cottage cheese? Like, I'm just trying to find a redeeming quality about cottage cheese.
or do you like look at this plant and then scrape the cottage cheese into the garbage can?
I like that idea too. I mean, if we're gonna be efficient here, then just like not get the cottage cheese. Zen says, "I like my Prism, but really wish it did have an app. I don't realize how loud it is until it goes off, and then it feels like there's a void in my brain when the fan shuts off." Oh yeah, the fan. The Wek Aqua has fans in it, but I don't hear them. But maybe one day I will. Now that you've mentioned that, like the light's gonna turn off tonight, and I'm gonna realize, oh, I can hear the hell out of those fans. Jenna, you're so pretty.
Okay. Oh wait, this one before.
Craig said, every light I've bought has broken here except the T9s, old tube lights, old trustees. Yeah. They don't make them like they used to. Nathan said, if I could afford it, I'd be brand loyal and I would go with the Co-op. Love the sponge filter, root tabs, plants have done pretty good for me. The only thing that I've gotten from the Co-op that didn't do well for me are the heaters, but shit happens. And obviously the heaters aren't being sold anymore, so yeah. J-Rock says, anyone experienced or experimented with shining light through the sides of the tank rather than from the top? I kind of did that with the betta tank. The tank in here that used to be a betta tank.
That now has the Chihiros on it.
Yeah, but I had a submersible light because
the betta kept going to the top and you couldn't see how pretty he was because it was all dark and shadowy. He wasn't going down to where the light was.
Yeah, I haven't like, I guess whenever I was filming a fish, I might have like held a light to the side of the tank. Because I mean, the goal when you're trying to film or photograph a fish is like find that perfect angle with the lighting in your camera that doesn't produce a crap ton of glare, but also properly illuminates the fish. I've gotten a little bit better at. How many watts are too many for a tank light? I don't even look at wattage. I'm looking at kind of comparing lumens to lumens or par to par if that information's there, but I don't even trust those numbers. I really am looking at spectrum and I'm looking at reviews, longevity, app functionality, whether there's an app at all. Yeah, I really like real world reviews and information. And I don't really pay attention to power usage as much as I probably should.
Yeah.
Favorite fertilizer for pond plants? Well, I have experience using one pond fertilizer, so that one's my favorite.
And what is it called?
I gotta look it up.
And Candy is asking if you reached out about the heaters, but I don't think you did because it was like over time, and it's not like you got them and they were like a bust. It was like months later.
Oh yeah, and I know that I could have reached out to have the heater replaced, but I just kind of like tore the heater apart because I wanted to look inside of it and see what went wrong. And I'm like, well, I probably avoided a warranty. I'm honestly, yeah, like I know that the Co-op would handle it for sure. I just I used the heater for quite a while before it failed, and I didn't worry about it, and even bought more. Let's see. Actually there's one in the 16 gallon where we just got the pygmy sunfish.
Yeah,
it's still working. Where the hell are those pond tabs? I'm trying to look at my Amazon.
Oh, what if you didn't get them on Amazon?
I got them on Amazon. Here we are. Crystal clear, one word, crystal clear Thrive. 10, 14, 8. I guess that's the ratio of NPK.
Yeah.
Aquatic plant fertilizer. 200 tablets. I guess I got them 200 tablets for $30, which is pretty good. I don't know if I put them in an aquarium. They look like they're like extra loaded with nutrients.
And welcome in Paul and Branton Lightcap.
Branton Lightcap. Is that a new name, or have we seen Branton?
Well, it's a name that I don't recognize.
Well, welcome in Branton Lightcap. So J-Rock, this is the last question because we got to get moving and pressure washing, and everyone head on over to Hagen Hill. So J-Rock said, do you think the glass would deafen the light waves if one was to try to light a tank from the sides only? I don't know. It was. I feel like it might look unnatural just because, like, who's used to seeing a body of water illuminated from the side? But I haven't tried that for like a long-term observation, just for like, let me get some light over here to take this photo type of thing. So I don't know. Yeah, so since they've been around, I've seen them. Like I definitely like sort of recognize the name. Just an elusive, rare person, I guess. So anyway, go on over to Hagen Hill, and we got to get some work done, and we'll see you on Friday. So
bye,
y'all.